Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
The Daily Compliance News for May 29, 2025. The 0 for 3 edition. We begin with that story from the New York Times, which is the Trump administration is now 0 for 3 against law firms who have fought back against executive orders targeting the firms that they cannot go into federal buildings, can't meet with federal employees, can't do all the things law firms routinely do. On Tuesday, a judge struck down Trump's executive order seeking to crush WilmerHale, one of several firms the president says have wronged him or have done work for his political opponents. And that's not a constitutional basis. Judge Richard Leone of the First Federal District Court for the District of Columbia ruled the order was unconstitutional and must be struck down in its entirety, adding that Trump appeared intent on driving the firm to the bargaining table by imposing a kitchen sink of severe sanctions. The ruling has validated the strategy of a minority of law firms in fighting the administration rather than caving into them as so many others have done. Next up, from Reuters, a former senior analyst at Freeport Commodities has sued the company, alleging that top executives pressured employees to facilitate insider trading and retaliated against employees that objected. The lawsuit was filed in federal district court earlier in May, and it alleges that the company fired Martin in November of last year to stop him from flagging unethical practices on the company's oil team during an FBI visit of its headquarters. Well, that will certainly get you in trouble. We will note that the Stamford, Connecticut-based company has denied the allegations, and it dismissed Martin for, quote, performance-related reasons, end quote. In a very troubling order from the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, North Korea infiltrates U.S. remote jobs with the help of everyday Americans. And this is a troubling trend where several dozen laptop farmers have popped up across the U.S. as a part of a scam to infiltrate American companies and earn cash for North Korea. The people are typically operate laptops used by legitimate remote workers living in the U.S. What the employers don't realize is the workers are North Koreans living abroad but using stolen identities. Once they get the job, they coordinate with someone who can provide them a U.S. cover story. So one more instance to know who you're doing business with and perform an adequate due diligence background check. And our final story comes to us from the Financial Times, which reports that Brazilian's government is fighting a last-ditch diplomatic battle to stop the U.S. from imposing sanctions on a Brazilian Supreme Court judge it doesn't like, and who is presiding over a case where ex-president of Brazil is being prosecuted on coup plotting charges. Yes, the U.S. is now going against judges who judge a country's laws, even if that country is not the United States. There's no telling how far down the Trump administration will go. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.